Hello again everybody, welcome back to Rattlesnake Canyon. Mike here with you again as always, and today, following on from the wonderful success of Tales from the Incubator, I've been trying to come up with a different name for this one, so we've got Stories from the Shelves. I had to come up with something. So today I'm going to go through a few of the new animals that we've had come in, and we've had so many in recently. Trying to keep on top of what we've got and what stock we've got and promote it to you, what we've hatched, what we've got feeding. It's just beyond belief at the minute. The shop is absolutely chock full of incredible animals. So what I'm going to do firstly is I'm going to break it down. We'll start with some invertebrates, and then we'll move into some of the lizards, and then we'll finish on the snakes. This will be a one take video. I may well edit it down once I get it onto the computer and just cut some of the dead time out of it, but we'll see what happens. So firstly, let's move over here, and we've got the inverts. Now I've already turned the lights off on here because I'm doing this after hours because I haven't just got time at the moment. So let's lower you down a little bit. Now, what we've got here is our invert shelf. Now, on this shelf, live plants as well, we've got our mantis. Now, mantis I have literally got coming out of my ears at the moment. Don't check, you never know what you might find. Starting here, we have ghost mantis, so we've got quite a few of these. Had these in from a local breeder. They're all now at around about stage 4. So that's the nicely grown on stage. They're all taking small hoppers. They're past the fruit fly stage. Going down into the other section, or the other ones which we've had in from another supplier, we'll start with basic ones. Hopefully you can pick that little fellow out on there on the twig. That's an African lined mantis, the Sphaeromantis lineola. We've then got, what have we got? That's one I didn't want to use yet, but we'll go on to these. So this one's a thistle mantis, also known as a dwarf devil's flower. So these are quite a funky species, not one I've ever had before, but really nice. One which I have had before, and these, I just love these. These are stunning creatures. Look at that. Let's see what happens if we pop the lid off. Firstly, will you stay on the lid? Yep, there he is. Hopefully you can see him or her on there. Let's flip that over. And look at that. How incredible. That is a violin mantis, a wandering violin mantis, Gongylus gongoloides. What a creature. That's part of the dead leaf mantis family. I will be doing some more in-depth videos on all of the animals that we've got in the shop now, as and when time allows. The final one on the mantids is everybody's absolute favourite. I took this one with me to a photography club the other night. The little white blob you can see on the bottom there is a orchid mantis, Hymenopus coronatus. These are a bit more of a specialist mantis from the point of view of care. Again, I'm going to go into some more detail on that as time allows. The final thing on our invert shelf there, which you can just make out from the webbing, is a pink-toed tarantula. avicularia, wherever you are, up on the top there. One of my favourite species of tarantulas they are, certainly on the arboreal side. Okay, moving on to lizards. Now we've had these, everybody loves lizards. Leopard geckos are a favourite. What people would call a typical starter lizard. This little fella came in this morning from one of our main suppliers. And isn't he stunning? Look at that. He's an albino max snow. Just a youngster. By the size of him, I'd say around about 4 to 6 months at the absolute maximum. But look how gorgeous that is. Love leopards. Used to breed leopards like they were rabbits. My lot did. They were breeding like they were going out of fashion. Out the way, little fella. Shift your butt. There we go. So that's the leopard gecko. That's an albino max snow, as I said there. We've also got, when we're going into geckos, in here is a little crested gecko. I can see him right at the front. That makes a change. Normally I have to hunt around for him, but here he is, right in the plant at the front. Go on, little fella. Do me Steve Irwin a bit there. You're alright, little fella. Look at that. Crested gecko. This is a little harlequin cresty. Nice size to him, nice and well established. They do jump around, as you see. And he's probably going to jump back into his viv now. Either that or he's going to jump on the glass and try and dart everywhere else. No, don't do it. And there he is, he did it. In you go. So yeah, harlequin cresty. We've also got gargoyle geckos. We've also got giant geckos, the Leachianus geckos. Those are things which we've had in stock for a little while. That's about it on lizards, sorry. Let's try that again, we'll cut that. That's about it on lizards. Let's move on to the snakes. Now, as you'll remember, with Tales from the Incubator, we had a massive week of hatching snakes. So first things which hatched were these little beauties. These are the Australian Centralian pythons, or Bredl's pythons, Morelia bredli. Now these guys, carpets are renowned for being nippy. These, I'm going to tempt fate while I'm holding it and on camera, these have been brilliant. Not a single one of them out of 18 babies that we hatched has shown any sign of aggression, any sign of nastiness, nippiness, bitiness. They're brilliant. And so far out of 18, I think we've got 3 or maybe 5 that haven't fed. The rest of them have had 3 feeds and are doing incredibly well. And you go back in there. Put your nose. So the other things that hatched in that insane week were corn snakes. Now, some of them have started feeding, which is great because sometimes we get problems with corns. But look at the colour on that. How insane is that? That. Do you know what? I'm looking at that and going, I'm going to keep that because that is ridiculous. What are you? Are you a little boy or a little girl? Now what I do for babies, for sexing them, the easiest way is to pop them. Now with a little boy, you'll get the hemipenes pop out, which they have just done. I don't know whether you'll pick that on camera. Thank you for going toilet on me. But yeah, there's hemipenes there. So from my point of view, unfortunately, that's a boy. I say unfortunately because I've got a couple of really nice boys that I don't really want to look at replacing from a breeding point of view. So we'll have to see with that one. I might still keep him. In there we have an amelanistic corn that came from the same clutch. Again, feeding nicely. That's another amel. What have we got in this box? That's yet another amel. So that's those. We've got then from the other clutch, this one is an amelanistic tessera. Now tessera is one of the many different colour variations within corn snakes, or rather pattern variations, which leads to a lot of striping and dot marking. Lively little bugger. So there's that one. That's a little amel tessera. This is one which is feeding and ready to go as well. So on all the stuff that I'm showing you tonight, it is things that are eating and ready to leave us. What we have next, we'll drop back into some pythons. Let me just rinse my hands. A little bit of hand gel there going between different species. So what we've got next, these came in from another local breeder. First time I've had anything from them. The video will not do these animals justice, unfortunately. I'm sure of that. This is a little albino royal. It's an albino pinstripe, possibly an albino inchy pinstripe. It's really, really tough to tell. The parents for these were an albino inchy pinstripe and an albino cinnamon pinstripe. So the only thing that was guaranteed out of them was albino, and the combination of the others, the cinnamon, inchy and pinstripe, it's really difficult to tell in these. I'd say that's definitely got inchy in it, probably got pin in it. So these are actually going to be more difficult for me to price and to sell on, but that's eating well. That one's eating small rat weaners. We have 6 others of different variations of colour and pattern. Not so much colour, sorry, they're all albino. But we've got 6 other different ones of those which will be ready to go soon. Now from the python side of it, we'll move on to the boa side. Now these came to me earlier on this week, and everybody loves these guys. Look at that, what a beauty. These are Brazilian rainbow boas. Now they've not had their first feed with us yet, but they'll get that first feed tomorrow, and as long as they eat, they'll be ready to go. They've come from the breeder having had 5 to 6 feeds. The ones which have had 6 have actually just had an extra one because something else refused. But these are Brazilian rainbows, Epicrates kencrea. Wonderful animals. Everybody loves Brazilians. We have also, I won't fetch him out because he's a nippy little bugger. I tried to show him to somebody earlier and he tried to eat me. A more grown on Brazilian. Let's show you him. See him in there. Hopefully you can see him okay in the corner there. So that's a Brazilian rainbow boa. You can see how well they maintain the coloration and how well they keep the markings on them as well. Look at my shelves. Look how round they are. I haven't had this much stock in for ages. I've got snakes everywhere, and I mean everywhere. That shelf is full. This is normally my spider shelf, my invert shelf, and again it's full. We'll drop back shortly. We'll drop back for a second onto some more pythons. So I'd forgotten that we've got these over there, in all fairness, because it's in a different cabinet. These ones, these came from an old friend of mine, somebody I used to work with when I was at the Hollybush Garden Centre. I will name check them, what the hell. Oh, drop that. Come back. So yeah, these come from somebody I knew from up there. He used to work on the landscaping side of things there. And now he's got into a few animals. This absolute beauty is one of 4 that we've got. These are Mojave Royals. Now the coloration on that, again, I'm sure the video won't pick it up and do it justice, but the coloration, the markings, the pattern, such a velvety looking snake. And these are feeding really well with us as well. So now I've jumped across cabinets. I'm confusing the hell out of myself with what I'm showing you. Let's go back. Where are we? What else have we got over here? Western hognoses. Who likes Western hognoses? Everybody loves Western hognoses. And somewhere, if I can find the right tub, not that one. I've got a proper screamer of a Western hognose. We've got hoggies in various iterations. Ooh, that's a strange word. Don't ask me where I came up with that one from. But various different types of hoggies in at the moment. These are a couple which hatched here from eggs from one of our regular customers. This little first one is an anaconda. Oh, still, dude, show you off. I'm trying to show you off. So that's an anaconda hognose. Obviously he's not used to being handled very much. These are not quite ready to go, those, because they're still being a little picky on their feeding, and they're currently eating fish scented pinkies. So we're working on those for you. They won't be too long. They're taking just quite easily small pieces of fish scented pinkies. So I can't see them being much longer before they're ready to go. Excuse the cabinet. We have got some hoggies that are ready. There's the one I was looking for. So this one's a little axanthic. So that's a nice little one. This was the one I was trying to get hold of, and the one I'm sure a lot of people have been interested in. These are lovely little albino hoggy. So normal pattern phase, but albino. Little boy, that one. So that's those. We have various other hogs in. I'm not going to go through them all because we'll be here all night. I have one last special animal to show you on the snakes, and we'll save the best for last, in my opinion. You had to be sat in your water still, didn't you? Let's go for the other one. These, bred by regular customer of ours and a good friend of ours, and we had some babies of these off him a few years ago, or 18 months ago. How pretty is that? Look at that. Amazon tree boa, Corallus hortulanus. What a stunning little snake. I say little, that's got to be knocking on 2 foot already. Now these have had one feed with us. One feed? Yeah. They'll have another feed tomorrow, but they've been feeding really well with the breeder. So I'm happy for these to go to people who know what they're doing already. But look at that. I've got loads of other different things, as I said, all very much different variations of the same species. So in you go. You're the last special one, dude, and the last different one. So I will be putting together some more videos over the next few days. What we've got to come will be on our royal pythons. So we have got loads of different royals, as I mentioned, all the different albinos, which came from that lady who bred those. We've got pastel royals, we've got normal royals. I've got a lovely pied royal. It's a high white, and I don't normally like high whites, but this one really is nice. So yeah, it's been a bit of a waffle tonight and a bit of a blast around the shop, but oh yeah, and I suppose everybody loves a beardy, don't they? Gone into night time for him now. We'll end with the last, well, the current beardy that we've got in stock, and there he is. He's a little hypo beardy. He's a stunner. I don't know whether you can make out the reds on him as he's moved there. Let me pop his light back on. Joys of the microclimate Evo systems, I can actually just override things. There we go, look, lights on. I will turn it back off again after. He's an absolutely stunner. I mean, his reds on there are insane. Hopefully you'll be able to make that out with him. Come here, dude. You want to come down? No? Okay. So there we go. Yeah, what can I say? Madness. Shops rammed, animals galore. Come and see us if you're after anything. I'm sure we're going to have something that's going to satisfy you. Thanks a lot, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget, like and subscribe. It shares it out to other people. As much as I can share it, I do, but the more people can like and subscribe and share it around, gets me more and more followers, and gets our message out there. Next lot of videos will be more educational, they'll be more care based and more specific to individual animals. But on that note, I'm going to go and have some food, edit this down, get it posted, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.